welcome to the Deep Dive.
Great to be here.
Today, we're getting into something really interesting. A perspective on Pilates you probably haven't heard before.
Definitely not your standard take.
Our source is this exclusive interview with Gandour. Now, he's presented metaphorically as a former racehorse, believe it or not.
Yeah, and he's described as an ambassador of conscious movement. It's quite a setup.
It really is. And he shares these deep insights on what he sees as the true essence of Pilates. Honestly, it makes you rethink the whole practice.
Absolutely. So this deep dive, we're going beyond, the usual surface level stuff about Pilates.
Right.
We're using Gandour's unique viewpoint to uncover the deeper philosophy, the actual practice behind it.
It's a chance, really, for you to get a fresh perspective on something that's, well, it's become so mainstream, hasn't it?
It really has. And maybe see it in a new light.
So our mission today, let's unpack Gandour's views.
Okay.
He talks about this big distinction between, like, real Pilates and modern fitness trends. What's this method of consciousness he keeps mentioning? And how does it affect not just your body, but, well, your mind, too?
We're essentially giving you a shortcut here, a way into the core ideas, and frankly, some surprising insights from the source material.
Exactly. Let's dive in.
Okay.
So let's kick off with the big question they ask Gandour. Is Pilates just turning into another fitness fad?
Yeah. Is it losing its soul, basically?
And his reaction is immediate. He sees this insidious, sometimes silent shift, a shift away from what he calls an educational method.
Towards an aesthetic promise. That's a powerful phrase.
It really is.
And Gandour's worried, you can tell. He feels Pilates, which, is supposed to start from the core, rebalance you, restore things, wake you up.
Right.
Is just being completely misunderstood now.
He gives examples, doesn't he? This kind of mentality creeping in.
He does. He mentions instructors pushing for plus bas, plus vite, plus fort.
Lower, faster, stronger.
Exactly. Or even worse, don't think. Just burn. Yeah. And he says, look, this just turns Pilates into a spectacle. It loses that original intent, the depth.
It's a strong critique. He also talks about forgetfulness. What does he mean is being forgotten?
Well, that links back to his main point. What's forgotten is Pilates as a method of consciousness.
Okay.
And as a postural pedagogy. It's not just exercises strung together.
He says it's a language, right, with its own grammar.
Exactly. And he lays out that grammar. The soufflé, the breath, l'alignement, la précision, and la progression.
So these specific elements.
Yes. And his analogy is, well, pretty cutting. He says doing something like Bootyformer without correction, without respiration, without reference points.
Right, just going through the motions.
He's like shouting in some loud dialect that doesn't actually say anything meaningful. It's just noise.
That really makes you think about the quality of instruction, doesn't it?
It does. What is the true language of Pilates, then?
Which brings us to correction. This is a big one for Gandour. He knows it's often seen as, well, punishment.
Yeah, nobody likes being singled out or feeling like they're doing it wrong.
But his counter-argument is so interesting. He says, corriger, ce n'est pas punir. To correct isn't to punish.
Okay.
Corriger, c'est accompagner. It's to accompany, to guide. C'est offrir une alternative. Un détour qui mène à l'axe. It's offering an alternative, a detour that leads back to your center, your axis.
That's a beautiful way to put it. It reframes correction entirely.
Totally. And he talks about his own instructor, Caroline.
Right, who never corrects with brutality.
Yeah. Her method sounds amazing. He says she places her hands, she breathes with me, she looks at my scapula.
So very attentive, very personal.
Very. And she tells him, don't force, Gandour. Ressens. Respire et recommence.
Don't force. Feel. Breathe and start again.
It's all about that internal feeling, guiding the student to adjust from within for, like, fluid movement.
Not just forcing them into a shape. It's a collaboration.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is such a contrast to, the typical fitness focus on
the visible stuff. Yeah. Glutes that rise, abs that pop.
Right. So if Pilates, true Pilates, isn't just about looking good, what else is it doing? What's the deeper benefit?
Well, Gandour draws a really clear line here. He's explicit. Pilates doesn't replace strength training.
Okay.
And vice versa. They are, in his words, two disciplines, two intelligences.
Different goals, different approaches.
Precisely. Fitness might reinforce fibers, build muscle bulk. But Pilates, he says, affines connections. It refines those deeper neural pathways.
Ah, interesting. So it's more internal.
Very much so. He says it engages the nervous system, it stimulates proprioception.
That's your body's sense of where it is in space, right?
Exactly, your internal GPS, kind of.
Yeah.
And it corrects years of patterns we all fall into.
Without wrecking you, without exhausting the organism.
Yes. And maybe the most crucial part, it restores a dialogue between the pelvis, the breath, and the brain.
That dialogue sounds key. It's connecting things often ignored in regular workouts.
Totally. It's working on a different level.
Okay, let's talk equipment. The reformer. Big part of Pilates for many people.
Iconic.
Is it like helping or hindering this shift towards fitness? Is it the victim or culprit, as Gandour asks?
Gandour's take is straightforward. The reformer is just a tool.
Right.
It's never to blame in itself. It becomes what we make it.
So it depends entirely on how it's used.
Exactly. In the hands of a skilled pedagogical instructor, he calls it a marvel.
Why a marvel?
Because it reveals asymmetries, things you wouldn't notice otherwise. It guides movement precisely. It can help free deep tensions.
Okay, so it's a diagnostic tool almost.
In a way, yes. But then he flips it. I contrast that with using it for, say, 300 sautés de fessiers sans conscience.
300 glute jumps without any awareness.
Right, just banging them out. Then he says it becomes a platform of spectacular suffering.
Ouch.
And that harms the student's body, not just the integrity of the Pilates method.
So the question isn't about the tool. It's about the intention and the awareness behind its use.
Precisely. How do we use these powerful tools responsibly?
And speaking of mechanics, alignment comes up. For a former racehorse, that must be critical.
You'd think so. And his perspective is, again, quite profound.
What does alignment really do for movement, according to him?
He insists alignment is not aesthetic, it's functional.
Functional, meaning?
Meaning it's what makes movement sustainable, durable. It's not just about looking straight or symmetrical.
Okay.
He gives these really embodied examples like feeling a right femur that isn't anchored properly or sensing his diaphragm holding tension instead of supporting his breath.
Wow, that's very specific awareness.
It is, and he clarifies he's not chasing some unattainable perfect posture.
Right, because that doesn't really exist.
No. What he wants is postural availability, a state where his body is ready, responsive.
Allowing for what?
Allowing for clear movement, easy breathing, even clearer thinking. It's all connected.
That connection between body and mind.
Yeah.
Gandour suggests Pilates transforms the spirit too. How does it work?
Yeah, he really elevates it beyond just the physical. He connects the dots from his own experience.
How so?
He observes, when you breathe better, you react better. Simple, but profound.
Makes sense. Less stress, maybe?
Could be. And when you find your center, you stop fleeing.
Fleeing what? Life? Challenges?
That sense of being grounded, and then when you feel you're anchoring, you can finally choose.
Choose how to react, how to move forward.
Exactly. It leads to his big statement. The Pilates, it's not just a technique. It's a strategy of inner reconquest.
Inner reconquest. That's powerful.
Mm.
It's about reclaiming yourself through movement.
Yes. Reclaiming awareness, agency, choice. It's way beyond just exercise.
So thinking about those more fitness-focused classes again, like the Bootyformer he mentioned, does he just completely dismiss them? Is there no place for them?
No, he's nuanced about it. He doesn't reject them outright. But he absolutely insists on calling things by their name. Clarity is key for him.
So Bootyformer is?
It's fitness on a machine. And he says, hey, that's very good for what it aims to do. Nothing wrong with fitness.
Not.
But he stresses it is not Pilates.
Don't mix them up or mislabel it.
Exactly. His warning is clear. Don't teach this fitness stuff under the guise of method, pretending it's Pilates.
Why is that so bad?
Because, he argues, it denatures the language, that Pilates grammar we talked about.
Okay.
It confuses students, makes them lose confidence maybe, and critically, it forces their bodies to compensate in unhealthy ways.
So it can actually be counterproductive physically.
That's his concern. You might get the aesthetic result short term, but you're potentially undermining the body's deeper mechanics and the core principles of Pilates.
Okay, so let's try bringing this all together. What's the core takeaway message from Gandour for instructors, but also for, anyone listening?
He leaves us with some really potent advice. Soyez fiers d'être lent. Be proud to be slow.
In our fast-paced world, that's countercultural.
It is. Ralentir, c'est résister. To slow down is to resist. Resist the rush, the superficiality.
And the other part.
Corriger, c'est aimer. To correct is to love. connecting back to that idea of supportive guidance, not punishment.
Wow. So transmitting Pilates knowledge, for him, it's about fostering deep feeling, internal awareness.
Not just chasing sweat, it's a different goal.
He also talks about the instructor's posture, doesn't he? Not just physical posture.
Right. Their presence, their attitude. He describes it as a presence that listens, that guides, that builds.
Not just someone shouting cues over loud music.
Exactly. Not a playlist, not a performance. It's about connection and careful teaching.
His final call is for more justness.
And less noise in how Pilates is taught and practiced. It's really a plea for authenticity and depth.
It definitely makes you think. Which leads us to our final thought for you, drawing from Gandour one last time.
His parting wisdom is really something to sit with.
Ce n'est pas dans la sueur qu'on grandit. It is not in sweat that one grows. C'est dans le souffle qu'on s'habite. It is in breath that one dwells within oneself.
Finding your home within yourself through breath.
So the provocative thought is, how might that principle growth through mindful awareness, through breath, rather than just pure effort or sweat, apply elsewhere in your life?
Beyond Pilates, beyond exercise, where else might slowing down and breathing actually help you grow?
Something to ponder. Until next time on The Deep Dive.